tell us what to expect. We know this will come a little bit later in the day, but preparations from the location, how are things?
Well, Ken, just as you've rightly said, is that preparations are ongoing here at the waterfront gardens at the race course, whereby the people involved in sound management are just putting up sound and tents to make sure that this event that will be starting at around 5 o'clock in the evening is going to run as smoothly as expected. We do know that it is just a day after the Jubilee Party launched its manifesto, that is the duo of President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto launched their manifesto in what has received praise and condemnation in equal measure as they try to steer this country into another 5 years of ruling this country. Now here preparations are ongoing. There is no official as of yet who has been able to come to this place. The people who are here who are inspecting sound are the people who are providing sound for the NASA team. But we do know that at around 5 o'clock, people will start streaming into these grounds to witness this auspicious occasion, whereby the 5 NASA principals will be standing in front of Kenyans just to give them what is going to be their manifesto or what they intend to do in the 5 years that they want to be given the term to govern this country. What we've also realized is that this is a card invite only function, whereby if you do not have a card, then you will not be able to access these grounds and access this function that will be starting at around 5 o'clock. Then another thing that has been requested of those who will be attending is the fact that they should be having official clothing, and nobody will also be allowed to come into these grounds after 6:30 o'clock. We do understand that is the time that has been slated for the NASA principals to come, so nobody will be allowed to come in after the NASA principals have already come into this place. It is going to be controlled just by looking at where the location of this launch and also the ambience that you see. As a journalist, you're supposed to look at some of the things that make up what is at that particular point. This is a race course whereby people come of a certain class to play jockey. So the place and the location is somehow trying to restrict so many people that are associated with NASA, and that fact that it is going to be an invite only, it is something that we'll just wait and see. But rounding through what we have seen in the manifesto, there is one that has been going around social media. We've been able to note that there are some certain pillars that the NASA government, if they do take power in August, want to put emphasis on. That is what they've also been going through the country trying to sell as an agenda. We know that they want to put emphasis on infrastructure. And this infrastructure is not going only to be at the national level, but also at the county level. They have been insisting on devolution, also saying that they will want to raise the equitable share, the revenue, from the current 32 to 35% that has been offered within the 5 years that the Jubilee government, within the 4.5 years that the Jubilee government has been in power, to 45%. They do believe that 45% of what is received at the national level should be cascaded down to the county level, and it is something that they really want to entrench in their manifesto so that it is also reflected in the national level, and this money goes into developing the counties. They have also insisted that they also want to check on the urban cities and the cities that are here in the country. You all know that there is Nairobi, there is Mombasa, and there is Kisumu. They want to make sure that these cities are brought to the level that they should be. Nairobi, they do insist in what we have seen in the manifesto that is going around, is that they say that they want to change it from what it is. It is a dirty city. It is a city whereby buildings are falling every day, collapsing every day, and they want to change that fact. They also want, that is something that they will want to elaborate in the manifesto that they will be launching later in the day. And also they want to make sure that the approval for the building of for the buildings in the city is going to be ratified and is going to be handled by a different team all along. Then there is also the other matter whereby they've been insisting that they want to bring the cost of living down. It is a matter that we do expect that they will be looking into and expounding as the principals will be talking, because you will know also in their structure of government they'll have the president, the deputy president, a minister in charge of devolution, a deputy prime minister, and all this. And these people will be put in charge of different sectors. It is something that we'll be waiting to hear what they have in plan for them and what roles they will be given in trying to drive the manifesto of the NASA government if they do take power. Another factor that we've seen that is going to be given immense importance is the free primary and secondary education. They have insisted that it is doable, that if they do take power as soon as September, when students will be going to school, they will not pay any school fees. It is a matter that Kenyans have received in equal measures. It has been condemned by the Jubilee government or those supporters of Jubilee, and it has also been praised by those supporters of NASA. So it is a matter that we will want to see how they will want to navigate it, so that it does not become a political ping pong or a political promise that never comes to be. Another matter that we've also seen, Ken, as you also come to discuss with your panel, is they have promised to strengthen what is now called the NHIF, the National Hospital Insurance Fund, and they want to set up a kitty that will make sure that no Kenyan goes to the hospital with paying any amount of money. They want to make sure that Kenyans will be going or accessing medical services without paying any money. Another factor that Kenya has been accused of lacking is a policy document, a foreign policy document. In the manifesto that we've been able to see, and this is also subject to what the principals will be saying when they come to launch the manifesto later in the day, is that they are looking at having a foreign policy document that is going to be commensurate to the needs of Kenyans. We have seen also when President Donald Trump took power in the US, he said that they are going to make sure that whatever the US gets is not a raw deal, but they will be looking at the effects, or they will be looking at what the US stands to benefit before they look at any other country. And looking at the manifesto that NASA will be unveiling later in the day, they have such a structure whereby they insist that they will be looking at what Kenyans want before they look at what the other countries want, before they will be engaging in any other country. So a foreign policy document is one that has been lacking in the Kenyan scene, and they are promising to bring it back so that it can also govern the rules of engagement between them and also other countries that they will be engaging in. Another factor that has been featuring immensely in the current days is the fact that we are buying unga at a very exorbitant price, according to NASA. That is what they have been insisting, and also some Kenyans have also been saying the same. And this is despite the fact that there is a subsidized unga that most Kenyans are saying that they are either finding it today or not finding it tomorrow. So they are insisting that they are going to come up with an elaborate plan that will make sure that no Kenyan sleeps hungry. In the manifesto that has been going around, and that we do hope that it is the one that is going to be used by the principals later in the day, is that they are quoting sections of the Constitution and making sure that they want to implement them. Like on that fact that on food, they're insisting that no Kenyan should be able to sleep hungry. They are quoting a section of the Constitution that says that every Kenyan has a right to one or two things. So if they do live by what they promised today, then it is going to be something that is worth looking forward to if they are given the chance to look to govern this country come the August elections. But Ken, you'll remember that these are politicians. The Jubilee side has launched theirs, the NASA side is launching theirs. Are they just promises? It is something that we can only wait to see, Ken.